give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head, get you out of my head again.
But you make it no worse. Every time you hear these words, I'll be down the road, cause I got the odds are better on my side. Why don't you try to be wise? Forgive me, I'm calling you cry. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart beats a beat of time, I press the ledge just to take you. Don't lead the way, don't leave a stay. Better drown with a chance playing the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
kid away, left me here, unable to find my way. Who killed the plan again? I set my sights so high, I dreamed of skies so bright, but life is a changing tide. Let's face it and brace it, nothing happens the way I planned it. Unexpected arises, I'll give it up, baby.
Evergreen. Welcome to the Honor Ramble. You got your classic edition here. Kyle K. Sparks is in the house. And if you didn't know, I am your Auntie Collins. This is our local establishment, and this is the Honor Ramble. How the heck are you, Kyle? You're here.
I wish I could say I was more excited coming off of this episode, but I'm really not.
Yeah, this is an interesting.
So is that a good way to welcome everybody to the program? Talking about how wildly underwhelmed we were with the show.
Listen, wildly
Reel them
underwhelmed.
in. Let's go.
Listen, it leaves it puts the bar low, right? So that we can elevate it to the sky, right? That's what we're here to do.
I mean, that's what we do.
Well, I'm so excited to be back. I took a little bit of a break because my brain was doing all the things. How's your head?
Doing great. Everything's great. I had a couple of weeks where I was doing kid related things, had Thursday night obligations, and I tried to keep pace with Ring of Honor. I'm very torn because over the last couple of weeks, it feels like they've kind of lost their way a little bit again.
Yeah.
It felt like they were kind of settling into a really nice groove and starting to build some things and starting to do some things. And I'm very torn because the CMLL infusion has led to a lot of fun lucha libre flippy do craziness as it were, but it also feels like that the direction has kind of gotten lost in the ether as well, which is not great because we're now a little over a month away from Supercard of Honor.
I was about to mention, we finally have a date for Supercard of Honor. And STG, I don't know what's going on with my internet. It always happens at 7:30 p.m. here. I think I have to, I don't know what it is. All I know is that I have fiber optic and it's not like this ever. So you got to tell me. But
You'd think with that much fiber it'd be a little bit more regular.
But Ed Fry's over here. Hi. How's it going? How's recovery going? You doing okay? Serving looks in our chat earlier this week, but at least Bobby Cruz is back after signing a new deal. Where else would he go?
And he tried to pull the old bait and switch on social media too, of like telling people that, well, my contract is up on Sunday. Space. Oh, good thing I signed a new one.
Yeah.
Do not do this to us, Bobby. Come on.
I know
Arcady is getting a lot more of the ring announcing gigs. It sounds like they're kind of cutting back on Bobby's usage, but that man will always be inextricably Ring of Honor.
Amen. He is the voice of Ring of Honor. Saying hey to Nick in the chat. First thing I hear for this post show, and I'm already locked in. Listen, we love crappy episodes because we get to talk about them. Oh, yes. Ed Fries over here. Nobody rocks a hospital Johnny and surgery hat like I do. You were serving looks. That over the shoulder one. I was like, okay. Next top model over here. But hello, Bobby. Thank you for letting me play
Yeah.
the trivia. I lost in the Twitch chat to Pop Smokes, and I even came in late. So, but I beat STG, and that's all I care about. So, listen, the last question is what stumped me, and I don't even remember it. It had to do with WCW, and I went, I don't know. I WCW hits my brain, and I go, I don't know.
Now I need to go look. Now I need to go look up the episode and see if it's something that I would know off the top of my head.
It was. I forgot what the question was. It was about something about the cruiserweight title, the WCW, WWF cruiserweight title, and who's won it. And I said I didn't even know that there was a women's cruiserweight title in WCW because I thought WCW didn't like women. Who held
the WWF WCW cruiserweight title for the women's?
And it was like who had it, and it had a bunch of people.
Oh, one of them didn't. Gotcha. Yeah. No, that's correct. She never held a singles title, at least not in WWE or anything like that. Jacqueline did briefly hold the cruiserweight title at one point because there was that whole feud. And then Medusa held it in WCW.
This is the question down below, by
the way. So there were a few.
Jacqueline, Medusa, Daphne.
Yeah, Daphne did hold it. That was correct.
But I saw Tammy's name and I didn't immediately go Sunny. So I was like, I don't know who that is. Should have known, that dumb bitch. Sorry. I'm already saying bitch 12 minutes in here. Sorry. Saying bitch multiple times. Listen, I've had so much caffeine today. It is not even funny. But guess what?
That being said, I mean, Sunny never held that title, but to be fair, I don't think Chris Candido ever did either, and he could have been, if he had seen fit to go to WCW at any point. I'm sorry, no, Candido did hold the cruiserweight title one time. I could have sworn.
If you don't know anything about them, they were. She was the valet for Chris Candido, correct?
Yes. Well, they were also married.
But kayfabe, just on kayfabe. But now she's in prison for being a terrible person, having 6 DUIs.
More than you should.
You should even have one.
To be fair, is one. Yeah, to be fair, one is more than you should.
Although I knew a girl that I worked with at the chiropractor's clinic when I worked there, and she had 3, and had a blow and go. It's crazy.
I didn't pay super close attention to WCW and the cruiserweights and a lot of times, but I genuinely do not ever remember Chris Candido holding that title. I'm looking that up right now because that is an absolute blank in my head, and it's bothering me now that I don't remember it.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. Tribalism was alive and well in the 90s for me as a 3rd and 4th grader. WCW sucked. All my friends at school who liked WCW, they sucked. I was a Raw girl.
Oh, it was because it was in the late days. It was he held it from April 16th to May 15th of 2000 and wound up losing it on
We'll
Nitro.
watch WCW then.
Oh my God. Chris Candido and Tammy Lynn Sitch had a mixed tag match against Crowbar and Daphne. Crowbar and Daphne won the match and somehow became co-cruiserweight champions.
What? This
Because
is during the ludicrous
because
time.
everything in
correct?
WCW at this point was terrible.
Listen, thank you. Don't fill my head up. I already have a giant head over here. Oh my gosh. Vince Russo.
And then a week later, Daphne defeated Crowbar in a singles match to become the undisputed champion. And there is an Astrid in the chat.
I miss our Mondays, Astrid. I really do. I miss our Mondays. Well, gosh. Speaking of disgusting, I haven't been able to talk about this on a podcast yet because it was during my mental B that I was having. Did you see Dynamite last week?
Yes. What specifically are we referencing?
Did you see the spot, the nail spot, the bat nail spot?
I did.
I need to know your opinion about this in like 1 minute or less.
I don't have a problem with it. It was a little bit difficult to watch at moments, but I have faith in Moxley's knowledge and willingness. I don't have a problem with it.
You didn't have a problem with it. Okay, I
Short
needed
version,
to know.
I have no problem with it.
I need to know because we don't see any of that this week on Ring of Honor.
Deathmatch wrestling is not my cup of tea. It never has been. I've always been pretty clear about that, but I don't begrudge it to people that do. If they like it, good on them. I
like blood. I like violence. But even that was a little bit hard for me. Seeing the skin sandwiched in between, I said, "Oh."
It was they did the bed of nails spot in Blood and Guts with Omega and Coat and Ibushi and everything else, but that's much more of a level playing ground. It's easier to distribute everything across that. The way Spike was built, it's not tricky
flat.
to take a straight back bump on that.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I don't think that, I don't know, physics is a forte of either of those men while building that match. It's not even my forte. Do I look like a math person? Do I look like a science person? I am what they call a personality hire. However, speaking of personality hires, Ring of Honor opens with, actually, she's not a personality hire. That's the joke. We open up our episode of Ring of Honor this week with the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena, with her tag partner, minion, replaced bestie, Diamante.
You could make the argument that Diamante is, in fact, a personality hire for MIT because her personality is violence.
Is that why I like her so much?
It may play a part.
Oh my gosh. But they're both talking, and Billy Starks does come up. And she's tapping Athena. Tap, 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 tap. Like that dumb girl in Finding Nemo on the glass. Wakey, wakey. That's every time anyone taps me on the shoulder, I just have that mental image, and it's been that way for 15 years, you know? But I digress. Billy Starks is here, and Athena has made it very clear that the MIT program, the besties, they all need some new people. And Billy Starks is probably not going to be around for very long.
Billy Starks wasn't born yet when Finding Nemo came out.
When did Finding Nemo come out?
2003.
2003?
Billy Starks was born the next year.
All right. I next week I will come with a promo, and it's just a bunch of things that we all love that are older than Billy Starks, and it's just going to make me feel every bit of these gray hairs. Every bit of these gray hairs. I thought of that Nemo Finding Nemo girl too. What am I saying? Too much caffeine here. Well, what a way to open the show with the only thing that's going well in this. However, we start off with some lucha. We have Okamura versus a returning Dark Panther. What did you think of this match, Kyle?
It was fine. Like, it didn't have the kind of high flying that you saw later on in our main event. Dark Panther is a little bit more grounded, a little bit more power based, and Okamura is just not going to fly much anymore anyway. He's in his early 50s. He's been doing this for 30 years.
That's
and this is the if my count is correct, this is the fourth company that they've done this in. They've been in CMLL, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, in MLW, and now in ROH. We've gotten Dark Panther versus Okamura.
wow.
Also, I wanted to point this out earlier because maybe I missed something. Was that Melissa Santos handling the ring announcing?
I did not recognize.
Because I don't think it was Arcady, and it was definitely
No.
not Bobby Cruz. I don't think Bobby Cruz looked that good in the yellow dress. But
Okay, that just reminds me of all these 2K mashups where I don't know how people are modding things, but they're taking masculine wrestlers and giving them the feminine wrestlers entrances. And this one that I saw this week was Roman Reigns doing the Bella's entrance.
I was going to say, please tell me he's doing the Bella dance. He dislocates a hip.
You can look, but you can't touch. Listen, I would dislocate a hip. I don't know how. The way that the swivels, I don't get it. But listen, I'm here for it.
The match itself, it was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was perfectly solid. I did use some of the time to look up Okamura's history in ROH. He was part of a team that was in the inaugural, and Ian pointed this out as well, in the inaugural tournament to crown the first 6-man champions. Teaming with Hechicero and Ultimo Guerrero.
Hechicero with his big old titties. But commentary did mention
yes.
Oh, I was just going to mention, commentary did mention their ages and their history and accolades, so much so that I had to rewatch this first match because there was not much that I knew going into this about Okamura, and what I've experienced from Dark Panther has been, few and far between. That match last week against Commander, if you need a lucha match that will blow your socks off, on regular television, not on a pay-per-view, go back and watch this match because it was a barn burner of a match. And how much I have been enjoying the Ring of Honor World Television Champion that is Commander, because wow, introducing us to some excellent lucha wrestlers while also giving me matches that I could go, I need more. I need more of this. Had no doubt that Commander would be a great champion, but go back and watch episode 108 for you with that match. But yeah.
Okay, and since you enjoyed playing trivia the other night, I'll pitch you an easy one.
Oh no.
I'll pitch you an easy one here that work with Okamura. When Okamura was in ROH, the team that they defeated in the first round of the Trios tournament was the Addiction and Kamitachi. Kamitachi was an NJPW talent on Excursion. Do you know who Kamitachi wound up becoming?
No. Do I have choices?
He would go on to become a junior heavyweight champion.
When?
Several times, and a multi-time junior.
Is it obvious? Champion. Is it obvious?
I think so, but I don't.
I'm asking the encyclopedia. Is it obvious? Oh, junior heavyweight champion. Do I have a year span and any range of years?
Well, he would have been on Excursion in around 2016 or so.
2016. Okay. It's going to be so obvious, and I'm going to scream at myself. A Japanese wrestler?
Yes.
Okay. 2016.
I'm trying to figure out if there's any other clues that I can give you that won't be a blatant giveaway at this point. Because I want to help, but I also don't want to just like hand you a flashing neon sign with who it is.
What color is their hair? Do they have hair?
Red.
Tanahashi.
It is not. Kamitachi would go on to become Hiromu Takahashi.
Takahashi! Oh no!
It was the Addiction. It was the Addiction and the future Hiromu Takahashi.
Auntie tilted. What do you mean? Oh, my camera? My asshole camera? Let me tell you about, my computer troubles. For those who also didn't know, 3 weeks ago, I tried to log on to do the show. My computer pops up, starts loading everything, blue screen of death. Okay. Load it back up. Same thing. I go, okay, this is pissing me off. I had just done an update. So it's like, what is happening? So go into the back, try to go into task manager, see what's happening. Blue screen of death every single time. Go into safe mode, try to figure it out. Blue screen of death again. So I gave up and I said, you know what? I can't do this. Took it into the shop. They go, yeah, we're going to have to reboot Windows completely onto your computer. And it was because of the Windows 11. Whatever happened in there got my computer stuck in this looping cycle. And then they go, also, your RAM is going bad. So I said, just go ahead. Go ahead, add the RAM,
Great.
whatever.
Great.
Perfect. How much is the damage? $250. $250.
Yeah.
And of course, it took a whole week for them to do the diagnostics and everything, which is fine. But I lost so much streaming time. And then I was having my mental health check. A friend of mine passed away. And I said, you know what? Maybe this is perfect that I have 3 weeks where I'm just not streaming anything. I streamed 2 shows and some other Tucking Post show on my old rickety laptop. I know. First world problems, I'm sure. But I say all that because I had to disassemble everything, right? My old 2016 laptop. That's why I couldn't think of Takahashi. But guess what? Something happened to my, you can't, I'm pointing over here like you can see. I have a webcam, right? A really nice webcam from Logitech, whatever. The way that it has been positioned for the last year, there's a kink in the cord now. So when I disassembled everything and reassembled it, it now wants to go naturally this way. Do you want to see my makeup brushes over here? No. So I'm trying to fix it. That's the long-winded story of saying my life is terrible and I'm not grateful for the things that I have in my life. Apparently, I don't know. But if you know physics,
and the least that Tony could do would be to send you a good.
Listen,
the least Tony could do would be give us a good show.
I know. Did that fix it? I don't know. But if someone knows physics or somebody knows how to fix kinks and things on nice webcams that I just can't replace because I had to replace my computer RAM, let me know.
And here I thought we didn't kink shame here on Honor Ramble, but
Listen. Oh, don't you do it. As I'm trying to mess things around, and then my ring light just said, oh. But anyways, great opening match. I learned a lot. Dark Panther got the win. This match was just, really grounded, pounded, not a lot of flippy shit. But you know what? We're going to have a lot of that in the main event.
Absolutely.
Are you ready for the match that I hated the most on this card or on this show? Why? It's because this is a feud that has been going on unnecessarily long. I don't need to see this again. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Johnny TV has now teamed up with MXM Collection. And you'll never guess who they're against. You'll never guess. The Sons of Texas are back, finally. And they brought their friend Willie Mack, which I love seeing Willie Mack. Don't get me wrong. Love Willie Mack. However, before I yell obscenities, Kyle, give me your opinions on this match.
The match itself was fine. I feel like you have to ignore a lot of frustrating stuff as to why we're here. The post match was in my notes slash write up that I'm going to be publishing on bodyslam.net in the next couple hours here. Post match after the Sons of Texas and Willie Mack get the win. Guevara hits the high knee and the GTH on Johnny. The MXM and Johnny attack after the match, sending Dustin and Sammy to the outside. Johnny hits Starship Pain on Willie Mack. Mansoor counts the 3. Afterward, they steal Dustin's 6-man belt. My exact comment was, so we're just doing this again.
Again.
Got it.
But last time they stole Sammy Guevara's title, so...
Totally new story.
Yeah, totally new. Sticky Fingers McGee's over here. This match, for me,
Is that a relation to Scoops McGee?
Yes, absolutely related. This match did nothing for me. 0.0 hated it because I said, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this.
Nothing is moving forward. You have the potential to have so many fun tag teams involved in the scene here, from the Gates of Agony to the Righteous to hell, even Top Flight. to the infantry, to Dark Order, to hell, the Premier Athletes got a win later in this episode and have talked about how they're going to come for the tag titles. Are these varying degrees of challengers? 100%. But you have options, and instead we're just running this back, but maybe now with the 6-man titles. That said, I will not hate if MXM and Johnny TV take the 6-man titles off of Dustin and the Von Erichs, because I don't know where the Von Erichs are. We know they're healthy. They've appeared on TV. So that said, if you want to put them on, if you want to put those titles on MXM and Johnny, great. I don't have an issue with that. But to get there, going the same route that we took to get MXM their tag title shot in the first place is lazy. It shows a complete lack of care on the product and is not engaging in any way, shape, or form.
Couldn't say it better myself. It is just lazy booking, and it's pissing me off because there's so many talented wrestlers on this freaking roster, and all we're doing here is playing some sort of comedy, whatever. And the last pay-per-view for Ring of Honor that we saw, they were cursed by Danhausen. Where the hell is the Danhausen lore that was attached to MXM?
To be fair, having to repeat everything you've done for the last month and a half is kind of a curse unto itself. At very least, it's a curse for us.
I feel cursed because I like MXM. I like Johnny TV. I like Dustin Rhodes. And I love Willie Mack.
The pairing of Johnny TV and MXM is, I was on board with that from day one, because the two himbo male model types combined with Johnny TV and his possibly magic teleportation powers of sliding out of rooms while in the splits, like, yes, sign me up for all of that nonsense.
Honestly, I never thought that himbos would be on a podcast, yet here we are.
We are breaking new ground on Honor Ramble.
I love it. I love it. All right. All I wrote was video package. Was there a video package in between these two matches?
Between 2 and 3?
Yes.
Between this and the Athena match? Yes. There was the video package with Lady Frost and Taya Valkyrie.
Thank you.
Which, to compete for the women's tag team titles. Which, those titles, I had to look up. They've only existed since about 2023. There have been 3 champions, counting the winners of this tournament, and the titles have been vacated twice.
Wow, what a great lineage.
They were first won by Stephanie Vacour and Zeuxis. Their titles were vacated in July of 2024 after about 10 months or so. 4 weeks later, Yuvia and Tessa Blanchard won them. They were vacated again a little over 4 months later. They would stay vacant for about 3 months until this tournament crowned new champions.
Why can't we make Taya and Lady Frost look this cool more often?
Does anybody, by the way, speaking of Taya, does anybody know if the Vendetta is still a thing, or if that's dead now too, or...
I just got my Vendetta shirt this last order, so if the problem here is that Tony Khan does not know how to book women right now, besides for a few of them. However, my problem is with AEW sometimes is they go, the vendetta, this cool faction, look at this cool shirt design, look, here's a sale. And I go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to pick up that vendetta shirt because I think that they're going to turn a corner. And Taya and Deonna Purrazzo are going to have a fantastic year. And by the time you get the item of clothing over here to the Pacific Northwest, it is no longer, oh my God, I saw it. This is a curse. I feel cursed. Oh no. No. Yeah, it did move on its own. The kink unkinked itself.
I am normally anti-kink. I am normally anti-kink shaming, but in this case, the kink should in fact be ashamed of itself.
I gotta figure out. Maybe I need to fasten it to the back of this. The back of this monitor, man. The three monitor life. You know, 1, 2, 3.
But yes, I'm very much in agreement. Lady Frost could look this cool in AEW or ROH. Taya Valkyrie could look this cool in AEW or ROH. But it's just for lack of effort. It's just for lack of care. And it's really too bad that there's not someone on the market literally right now who could be a much needed steadying presence and backstage power broker for the women in any given company, or but I said this on social media actually after the Gail Kim news broke, that ordinarily I would say, oh my God, Tony, back the Brinks truck up to her house and fill it with as much cash as you need to get her on board and give her full reign over your women's division. But you had an opportunity to do that with Maria Kanellis, and you didn't do it, and you wasted her talent, and she's gone now. And why would anyone think you would do it with Gail Kim now?
AEW would be the dumbest if Gail Kim is going, hey, this is my price. I can do X, Y, and Z, because she's been doing it for 17 fucking years. And Tony Khan just, a billionaire goes, nah, no thanks. Absolutely stupid. Would be the stupidest. Would be so dumb. Because you know what? Whatever you want to say about Gail Kim, and if you don't like her, that's whatever. Her name and respect and credibility goes miles beyond what you even think or know. And that's from someone that's worked in the backstage space, been part of media, and know people in the industry. What she's capable of, and she's capable of so much more. Plus, I'm hoping that one day that she shows up in the ring one last time, because I look back at some of those TNA moments and I'm like, that woman was miles ahead of her time.
Yeah.
But speaking of miles ahead of their time, Athena and Diamante tagged together, and they're going up against some local talent. My friend Maserati, speaking of knowing people in the industry, my girl Maserati and Jordan Blue. These are my peeps. Do people still say peeps? I don't know. I feel ancient saying that. Local enhancement talent, local enhancement talenting. But Kyle, what did you think of this women's match?
I had a really, really dorky reaction to to this match, where my first thought when they announced the enhancement team and announced her as Jordan Blue, mm-hmm. I immediately asked if she was related to Jacob and Eli Blue, which was a gimmick name for the Harris twins in the WWF in 1995. I don't know why I remember these things.
What the heck?
Because I thought it was funny for a split second, and I realized that I'm probably the only person on planet Earth
Yeah, that's
who
true.
might laugh at that joke. But you know what? It's never stopped me before. This accomplished what it was supposed to. It was just supposed to be a big time squash to get over Diamante as essentially the enforcer for MIT now. Somebody who's proving herself to Athena with violence, beating the daylights out of both Jordan Blue and Maserati, and then tagging in Athena, feeding in Maserati for the knockout forearm, and yeah, in and out in under 3 minutes. So this was exactly what you'd expect.
Exactly what they expect. But in the world of can they coexist, I find Athena and Diamante teaming together kind of endearing, kind of slapstick comedy, so to speak. Uh, because they have very differing personalities that is almost the same version of the same one, if that makes any sense. But just one is a champion and one is not.
Well, there was an
And
interesting point in commentary brought up by, I think it was Caprice, who said that we've seen the discussion turned to, we've seen Athena do this with people before, where she brings them into her orbit and gets close to them and learns how they tick and what they're about, and then turns on them when they're no longer of use to her. Then I think it was Caprice that said, yeah, but we've seen Diamante do the same thing. So is this going to be a race of who turns on who first? And then how does Billy fit into this equation? Because she's feeling incredibly left out at this point, and she's coming into her own, coming off of a fantastic match against Mercedes Moné.
I'm here for it. As long as Athena is standing tall, I'm here for it.
Although this is also why we have now a little over a month, as I said before, Supercard of Honor. This is where I also said when the news broke about Supercard, some of you may have seen on Blue Sky where I rattled off 5 or 6 or so matches that I would put on that card, and one of them,
such a good one.
And one of them for me was rerun Athena versus Billy, because that still seems to be endgame, and but do it title versus ROH contract, because you need to do something to up the stakes at this point, and that seemed to be the only place we could go, and finally give Billy her shot, her title win, because we've talked about this on the show before. If it wasn't for Wrestle Dynasty, I think she'd be champion right now. But
Agreed.
we need to circle around and finish that story. But the only reason that stopped me from doing, and as I said in that thread, the only thing that stopped me from doing Jericho versus Bandito, title versus mask, is because I didn't want to do 2 Luchas de Puestas matches essentially on the same show. And then, as we'll see after this match, Tony Khan blew all that up in my face anyway. Do we want to talk about what we did next after Athena and Diamante finished dismantling Jordan Blue and Maserati? That was my reaction too.
Do we have to?
Okay, I'll take care of it for you. I got this. we go into a video package detailing the Chris Jericho and Bandito saga over the past several weeks, as Jericho stole the mask of Bandito's brother Gravity at Revolution during the 0 hour no contest between the two, only for Bandito to get it back relatively easily 2 weeks later on a collision. In an interview that aired on Dynamite last night, Jericho officially challenged Bandito to a title versus mask match at Supercard of Honor? Oh, no. At AEW Dynasty. It's fine. It's not like there's an ROH pay-per-view event coming up a month later or anything like that. No, instead we're going to knock out a title versus mask match with virtually no build in the span of a week and a half. We do this show because we love ROH. I have loved ROH since 2002 when it was in its infancy in the Murphy Rec Center. I've talked about having VHS copies of the first shows. We do these shows because we love ROH. And we want this property, this brand, this promotion to be treated with the reverence, with the respect given that it deserves for its place for over 2 decades in the wrestling landscape of being innovators, of being the source of top stars galore in AEW and WWE. The number of guys that are top guys in both promotions that got their start in North America in Ring of Honor is enormous and continues to be. And while I understand as a fan that AEW has kind of taken the place of what ROH used to be, AEW has kind of become ROH with the budget that we always hoped it would have. I can deal with that. I can deal with the fact that ROH has become more of a developmental territory, because realistically, it always was. It produced some of the best wrestling ever. It produced some fantastic stories. It produced some amazing moments. But at its heart, it was always a developmental for WWE. It was always a developmental for TNA and Impact. Those guys went on to greener pastures, and ROH kept churning along because it kept building up untapped young talent. And it can still do that today. And in many ways, it still is. Lee Johnson is becoming a big deal because of ROH. Blake Christian is becoming a bigger deal because of ROH. He just showed out against Kenny Omega on Dynamite. The Infantry have become a bigger deal because of ROH. Shane Taylor is a big deal because of ROH. But it is an incredibly frustrating thing when it feels like the promotion itself is not given care, is not given respect, is not giving appropriate build, is not treated like a big deal. It's treated like an afterthought, and so many important things that have happened in ROH are, yes, Athena as well. Athena has carried that brand for 3 years. And you know what? At this point, it wouldn't shock me if she gets a defense at Supercard against Who Cares, and just throws down the title like Samoa Joe did the ROH TV title, because that's all the care we've been given. You can have ROH be a developmental brand, and you can have it be important, and you can have it feel important. And it starts by not allowing these critical moments to happen on AEW branded properties. It's the simplest thing in the world, and he makes it feel like the most difficult every single time.
I couldn't have said it better myself, so I won't. Chris Jericho sucks.
Thank you for not holding me to less than a minute.
I'm sorry. Oh my god.
It's also going to make it very difficult for Bobby. It's also going to make it very difficult for Bobby to clip, and I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah. 50. I think it started at 53 minutes or maybe 52 minutes in. Okay, sorry, I have to write my note. Anyways, oh gosh, the EA app just updated itself. Yeah, I don't want to say anything about Chris Jericho. Fuck him. The premier athletes are in tag action versus the Dark Order, the version of Alex Reynolds and Evil Uno, who should get his titties out more often. Before we jump
bit on social media.
Before we
there we go.
I have to bound chicka bow wow 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 bound chicka bow wow wow. Also, I wasn't expecting Tony Nese's hair to be so luscious.
I'm just going to point out that I really appreciate that came immediately after my 3-minute rant about ROH. I love a lot that was the next thing.
Listen, Ring of Honor is for the girlies who love corn cob abs. I love me some corn cob abs. Get your titties out. Get your corn cob abs out. Just lay it all out on the dance floor. That is the squared circle for Auntie Collins. That's your audience.
Also flippies and violence.
Flippies and violence and blood and girls. Girls wrestling. And also, I don't ask for much, you know? Just give me some skin. The premier athletes suck. And that's what we're here for. We also see the fraternity ringside. And this is when my husband came home from work. And he comes home from work and he goes, who the heck is that guy next to Jack Jameson? And I go, you know who Jack Jameson is, but you don't know who Cole Carter is? Which is fair because
in his defense, Cole Carter's been out with the injury for a while.
I mean, he barely even appears on television or in the ring anyways. It's usually Preston Vance. It's usually Griff Garrison and Jack Jameson.
That is.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? And then we're here showing some titties, showing some skin. Imagine a Preston Vance standing next to you, that behemoth of a man with his full ass titties out. And they're just, are they called the fraternity or are they called the frat house? Because on Cage Match,
my understanding was frat house.
The frat house? The fraternity sounds so much better. Frat house sounds like rat house. And you know what? They're a bunch of rats. Got their little pink skin out. Little rats. Me. Getting that cheese? But this match was every bit of exactly what it was supposed to be. It's not that either of these truly impress me with their wrestling, but it does set up a storyline that is the premier athletes finally getting a win. But it's on the Dark Order, who continuously loses. And they do get that win by help of Preston Vance interfering during this match. what did you think of the match there, Kyle?
Do you remember in the late 2000s when it felt like there was a Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler match every other week on WWE TV?
Yes.
That's how I feel about the Premier Athletes and Dark Order at this point. They've
It's
been
just
tag team,
Groundhog's
6-man,
Day.
8-man, 10-man, over and over and over and over and over again. And the matches are always fine. They're never anything groundbreaking. They're perfectly solid mid-card tag team matches, but it's just no one's going anywhere. It's running on a treadmill. It's the hot dogs on those little wheelie display cases in the convenience store. They keep moving, but they're not gaining any ground.
I like that that's how we've referred to I'm dead. That is hilarious. That's hilarious.
Also, I'm appalled
Mm.
that the Vegas crowd blatantly disregarded Mark Sterling's clear direction to say athletes rule and nothing else
And nothing else.
by
However,
hurtfully informing the athletes that they in fact suck.
they do suck though. One big fat one, real hard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this was this wound up playing into the issue that the Dark Order had a couple weeks ago with Preston Vance, where they ran into them backstage and had that whole sequence. So now Vance and the rest of the frat house, Vance rolls in the ring, takes out Reynolds. Daivari hits his frog splash finish, and the Premier Athletes get a tag team win. And then because we need all the low card comedy heel jobbers in one group, the frat house and the Premier Athletes apparently have now merged. Sure.
Do I like it? No.
Why not?
Is this where I thought we would be?
I just want Josh Woods. I just want Josh Woods back. That's all I'm asking.
And listen, if there is one person who is a Tony Nese fan, it is I. If Tony Nese has 0 fans, it means I have croaked the big old one. Down the street, put me in the grave, 6 feet under. I even know that this is a kind of a crock of shit. But someone's got to live here. And I don't know. It does something for me in ways that probably shouldn't. But yet here we are. And I'm finding solace in the rain. Supergroup at Super Card?
It's what it is. So your group now consists of Nese, Daivari, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, and Jack Jameson, who I feel like you can count the total number of combined wins in that entire group on about 2 hands. I can't look that up for sure, but I'm probably not that far off.
Well, another disappointing thing after this match is we go backstage. Renee Paquette looking stunning as always, talking to the QTest Marshall. QT Marshall, if you hadn't seen on a pre-show, threw a drink on the Paul Walter Hauser at AEW Revolution. And Paul Walter Hauser says, "Hey, I've been sober for quite some time. And that drink that you threw at me had alcohol in it." He says that's intentional and he wants a match. QT Marshall says, Paul Walter Hauser, you're overthinking it, blowing it out of proportion, and he doesn't deserve a match unless he asks him personally. What the fuck do you think of this?
Listen, there's
Is
no
this
way
an ROH feud?
This is going to happen on an AEW branded show. I will all but guarantee it. Which means, why are we devoting time to
Why? Why? What is this? Why?
this? Is
Why?
This is not happening on ROH because good marketing and good branding says that you put this on your AEW show, which is going to be most visible, which you're going to have more people paying more money for, and for better or for worse, that is not ROH or Honor Club. And that said, I have no idea why we're devoting time and resources on ROH television to further it.
I mean, we can't seem to even start promoting any of your actual Ring of Honor wrestlers, even if they are on dorky 0-hour feuds. However, this last week on Dynamite, yesterday, Vanilla Baby, Blake Christian versus Kenneth Omega is a fantastic match. No. But if you want to utilize Ring of Honor wrestlers and be like, hey, here's a video package of Ring of Honor, you can see this wrestler on Ring of Honor. That's a great way to intermingle. Not like this. Not like this.
I see little, if any, value here, and I am disappointed.
Well,
but here we are.
You know where I don't see little value? The next match, because it's a women's match. We have Queen Aminata, Queen Aminata versus a signed and returning Viva Van. What did you think of this match?
Good stuff here. There were a couple of really fun transitions. I loved Viva. I'm trying to remember how she got into it, but sort of almost a body scissors, kind of a roll through into an arm capture, into like a cross arm breaker. Like we had some really fun transitions there. Aminata is just so good. She is such the complete package. In that she can wrestle, she can strike like nobody's business, and I will continue to say that I think ROH might have missed the boat not putting the title on her. I mean, yes, Athena's reign has been fantastic. But yes, Athena's reign has been fantastic. And I'm sure we will love it when God, please let Billy actually be the one to end it and don't do the Samoa Joe thing, because the more time that passes, the more I'm worried that that's what's going to happen. That she's just going to drop the title because she decides she wants to go challenge for the TBS championship. But we'll rant about that when it gets here. But no, this was fun stuff. Viva continues to show flashes and good things. They're really putting her out there against the best and brightest in the division. It seems clear that Tony sees good things in her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be getting these types of opportunities. But yeah, Aminata just took her head off at that finish.
I think that's where Aminata really excels, right? Because she's so tall. Let me see. She's 5'9", so shorter than Auntie Collins, by the way. But I digress. A lot of these wrestlers, especially Viva Van, who 5'4", probably. Aminata's not towering. She's not a Jade Cargill. But some of these hits and kicks that I truly feel like they're hitting like through the screen into me. I feel the reverb of it. And that's exactly what I want a hard-hitting wrestler to do. There's that hole, that Jade Cargill hole in my heart in AEW. We see it with Chris Statlander. We see it with Willow. We're now seeing it more with Megan Bayne. Where is it in Ring of Honor? It's right there with Queen Aminata. And that's one of the first thing I said is Queen Aminata needs to take that title off of Athena immediately and have her having everyone in that locker room chasing her down. Because holy hell, if we get matches like this week after week, even like twice a month, I would be satisfied. I would be bursting at the seams because Queen Aminata, like she just evokes that star quality. Whether you think that she's, inequipped, she's too, inexperienced, she needs to, take a second and breathe. All that I don't care. There is something about Queen Aminata that is undeniable here. And it's not to say that Viva Van is not at that level. I think that Viva Van is at the beginning stages of her career. I mean, she only started popping up during the pandemic. And remember, there was not a lot of wrestling going on during the pandemic. So for Queen Aminata and her to kind of be going, and Queen Aminata is going up and up and up, it doesn't mean that Viva Van is not also a quality wrestler to have in this division. But I think that's where we come to a divide where we go, okay, who are we shaping up to be your next champions? And honestly, Queen Aminata is rising to the top so fast. Those strikes, the hitting, the way that Viva Van is selling it, it was just devastating. I'm officially wired on Starbucks. No. We want to say hello to our friend Sam. Sam, we love you. Come back to the show. We love you. But honestly, Queen Aminata dragging Viva Van and then pinning her at the end after that huge knee strike. Oh, devastating. Give me 14 of them right now. So this was probably that one match that I was well excited to actually talk about tonight. But
also, I just want to point out to Sam that I'm very sorry about her Braves losing today. But opening day baseball.
Oh, it is opening day. Okay, so here's the thing. So my cousins and I always make a tradition every baseball season to go to a game together. And my cousin texted me and said, "Hey, are you happening to be here?" And I go, "Here where?" I am so far removed from every other sport because I am so stuck in the wrestling sphere and the Bravo sphere and the drag race sphere that I totally forgot that sports outside of this exists. And I went, oh, that's my favorite and only sport that I like to watch. That is the baseball. Sam says, thanks, Kyle. Bullpen blowing games on day one is great.
161 to go. That's okay.
I love that baseball season is like, it's more than just like basketball season, which I always hated because basketball season is it feels so short compared to all the other sports. Whereas like baseball season is like spring, summer, and into fall. There's a plethora of things to watch. And anyone who says it's boring. Have friends. Go to a game. Enjoy the sights. Speaking of the sites, before we go into our main event, we did go backstage with the premier athletes cutting that promo, as we mentioned. I do want to mention, though, this is where you get to see the luscious beauty that is Tony Nese's hair. Love him. Chef's kiss. They mentioned that they're going to be the future tag team champions. And guess what? Do it. Just put me out of my misery with these Sons of Texas.
You know, also, I couldn't help but notice that we decided to film this in a giant echoey hallway, and I'm sure the sound editor was absolutely ecstatic about that.
I'm sure.
Just let's find the worst. Let's find the worst possible place that we can to.
STG NFL goes from April until February.
Yeah, it's
September,
draft. We're getting ready for the draft right now.
Yeah. You guys have enough. I say that as I was like last season, I was like, I'm going to be a football girly. And guess what happened? I bought a sweatshirt. At least I look cute.
The regular season is only 17 games. College football, the regular season is only 12. But by the time you go through the entire playoff structure now, including a conference championship game, it's around that same length at this point. But
listen, I'm not asking them to be long. I'm asking them to be substantial. We
all have our preferences. That's fine.
Yeah. I can't see their faces, so. Anyways, I love that people love baseball. Listen, you don't have to watch all 62 games all at once. And the best part about it is ESPN goes, here are the clips. You don't got to watch everything. Speaking of the clips,
there are probably going to be a lot of them coming from our main event.
That's all you need. We are in our main event. Remember, Lucha is the basis of Ring of Honor. And hello, Lucha. We have people coming out looking like on the Flintstones. We have Barbaro Caverino.
Barbaro Cavernario.
Okay. Rugidio and Volador Jr. coming out versus Atlantis Jr., Fuego, and Teton.
Reppin' L.I.
That was bad. Yeah, this match was fun. You know what, Teton?
As far as I'm aware, Teton is still part of LIJ. I don't think anything's changed with that.
Honestly, him coming out to the ring with a mask and then pulling the mask off. Hello, Roxy Andrews. Okay, if you watch Drag Race, you'll know. You ever watch that show, the Drag Race?
I have. I'm not a dedicated viewer, but I have, yes.
All right. He does rule. But the way that he pulled off his mask to reveal another mask, I was like, that's so cool. It's so cool. Anyways, we do have a main event of Luchadors. Kyle, take this away.
Oh, gosh. Once again, this was Lucha Rules, which, for those unaware, means tags are not necessary. They can still happen, but you can leave the ring and someone else from your team can come in and will become the legal participant at that point. We did have some history between these two teams. Ian points out that at one point, Atlantis Jr. and Volador were 2/3 of CMLL's Trios champions, until Volador Jr. had his change of attitude that has sort of led him down this Rudo path. Yeah, in the first about 90 seconds of this match, it became really clear that a play-by-play was not going to happen because it was just bonkers, bodies flying everywhere, head scissors, uh, dives, just insanity. So a lot of fun there. We had a through line through the match with the Rudo team of Barbaro Cavernario, Volador Jr., and Ruhido messing with Atlantis's mask, which Ian pointed out quickly in CMLL in Mexico, that if the mask comes off, that is an instant disqualification right then and there. This is not like it would be in the States when luchadors perform and the mask becomes sort of this whole thing. That is an instant disqualification. But as Ian discusses this, he and Caprice have a really interesting discussion on commentary during this point of there are benefits of futzing with the mask if you're involved in this, because it's going to throw your opponent off his game. It's going to get him flustered. And if you can shift it around a little bit, it's going to affect their vision. It's going to affect, there are multiple benefits potentially to doing that, as long as you don't take it off and get yourself disqualified. Just a lot of fun here. They just took turns beating up Teton, beating up Fuego, beating up Atlantis. They controlled for quite a portion of this. Barbaro Cavernario hit a really nice powerbomb lift, transition to a power slam on Fuego. It's always a fun move to see. What other stuff did I have in my notes here? We took turns as we got towards the end of where was it at? Teton and Fuego take over. As Teton hits a double drop kick on Ruhido and Volador, they go to the outside. Teton and Atlantis go to hit double dives, and Barbaro Cavernario comes in and takes both of them out with a double clothesline. And then Atlantis comes in and takes him out. Then Volador, and it just one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. Sad. These are a lot of fun to watch. They don't move much forward in ROH, which is something that I kind of take issue with, but they're fun to watch in a vacuum. Here it was. Teton's in the ring. Volador charges him. Teton leapfrogs over and back and does that multiple handsprings over and over and over and over again in rapid succession, and goes 2/3 of the way across the ring, corner to corner. And rather than responding with any big flashy thing of his own, once he finishes and turns around, Volador just kicks him in the face. Just the simplicity is just fantastic in something,
rightfully so,
in a match where everything is so wild and so well constructed and so elaborate. Sometimes there's just something fun for responding to something amazing like that with just a thrust kick to the face. Like, I appreciate the elegant in its simplicity.
I mean, that would get me to pay attention real quick as a swift kick in the face. I think that this match was perfectly defined in the ludicrousy that is lucha rules. I think it was just the perfect amount, because I think that sometimes some of these lucha matches can get a little bit convoluted, right? A little bit too jumpy, and I can't keep up because I'm a simpleton. Sometimes I need it to be obvious, and I think the camera jumping around can get a little bit muddy. But I found myself kind of following along back and forth. I felt the match itself was evenly keeled, whereas the heels with the caveman guy, Cavanario.
Barbaro Cavernario.
Yes, all eyes were on him all the time because he just, the way that he was moving, I was like, okay, my eyes are focused here. And as much as I'm not as familiar with, the heels, I do know Titan, I know Fuego, and I know Atlantis Jr. And they just make it so fun to watch wrestling. The back and forth between everything, the way that the heels go ahead and then the faces get the crowd riled up. And I love that this Las Vegas crowd was so excited about what was going on. It wasn't, I don't know, incredible. I'm exhausted, but I thought it was a great match to kind of put a cap on this, hazy episode. Not anything of no story really was progressed here, but I think Atlantis Jr. making his way back onto our screen more so now than when he was the television champ is fine by me. So but it was a great main event. Not memorable, but great nonetheless.
Yeah, I want to give credit where it's due that this was a fun match. It was enjoyable to watch. Even the stuff that I wasn't sure why it was happening was still enjoyable. It was still fun. Even MXM and Willie Mack, or MXM and Johnny TV against the Sons of Texas and Willie Mack, which you did not like in any way, shape, or form. I thought the match itself, taken in a vacuum, was perfectly solid. Dark Panther and Okamura was fine. The Premier Athletes in Dark Order was fine, if wildly overdone. This in a way kind of encapsulated what's been very frustrating about a lot of ROH on Honor Club in the Tony Khan era, in that there isn't anything specifically wrong with what's happening with the wrestling, but it's one giant treadmill. Everyone's moving, but they're not going forward.
What was that music video on the treadmills? Okay, Go, right? That band.
Yes.
It was like one of the first viral YouTube videos.
Yes.
And they're just going on one treadmill and then jumping to the next treadmill and then jumping in. That's what I think this is.
The song was "Here It Goes Again."
I got
I actually got to see them play what was basically a glorified food court at Michigan State University back about
do they have treadmills?
About 20 some odd years ago.
That's a long time ago.
Well, I'm old, so you know. If I didn't believe it, my daughter reminds me of it at least every couple of days. Not quite.
52, just like wrestlers on our show tonight. Kyle, what did you think of this show? Do you have stats for us tonight?
I do. That is not 52 is not correct. You're going in the wrong direction.
87.
Well, now it's just getting mean. It's just getting mean. But it's okay. Apparently, at my age, I won't remember why I'm upset in a little bit anyway. So,
listen, let me tell you a story. Quick story. I thought Senior Moments was like when you're a senior in high school and like you forget everything because you're so excited that you're a senior in high school. And I
That's
said
called
it
senioritis.
I said that in front of my grandmother, who at the time had dementia, and she goes, "That's so inappropriate." And I was, "What are you talking about?" And so I like told my parents, I was like, "Grandma got really pissed because I said this, and I know that it's because I'm a senior in high school and like I'm forgetful of things." And they're, "No, that's the wrong kind of senior." And grandma just got this diagnosis, and I said, "Oh." But that's on the ism in the brain because I take everything literally. And that's what's so funny to me is just I live in my own delusion. Anyways, that's a short story that you just got tail ended
Hey,
by me.
everybody needs that auntie lore. Don't worry, it's all good.
Everything going over my head. What's new?
This episode ran 1:11:47. Total match time was 42:18, so 58.9% of the episode was bell to bell in ring. A little under 60%, so down a touch, I believe, but average match time of the 6 matches was 7:03. The shortest, the longest was our main event, which ran 12:03. The shortest was Athena and Diamante, which ran 2:48. STG with a question here. What would ROH need to do to secure a cable or TV deal? Genuinely, I'm not sure that the appetite is there for it. Regardless,
Ooh.
I'm genuinely skeptical because we've tried twice now to do this Chris Jericho on top thing, banking on his being a big enough star that TV networks are going to come running, or the people at Turner are going to come running to give our AEW or to give ROH another time slot somewhere. But I'm not sure if the appetite is there for even another hour of weekly TV. And I think on some level, Tony likes the flexibility that being on Honor Club provides. And having the weekly show there does provide at least something of a compelling feature ad to Honor Club, especially now that you've started to make the pay-per-view events Honor Club exclusives. So to me, I think what needs to happen is that somebody needs to approach Tony Khan with a really blockbuster level offer, because from his perspective, I don't think that there's enough to justify that kind of a move. If he feels comfortable with the creative flexibility and everything else that streaming on Honor Club allows him.
They need to figure out their niche. They need to figure out what makes Ring of Honor viewable outside of behind a paywall. And I think the only way that they're going to get there is if they have specific dedicated tapings. No more of this before and after AEW shows, no more integrating into just AEW and keeping your freaking champion just on AEW television. You need it to be separate, and you need those universal tapings back. You need a designated place.
Having the AEW branding on the areas around the ring, having the AEW pay-per-view banners in the rafters, and having the commentary desk be empty at these tapings it looks bad. It looks like you don't care, because in all likelihood you kind of don't. at this point. I don't want to get sucked into my 3-minute rant that I did earlier. I'm sure that will be clipped all to heck, but it does seem to be a combination of factors. Like, one, I don't think anything has been presented to TK that would cause him to really sit up and take notice of, hey, this is something that is enough of a quantum leap forward for the promotion that it would justify giving up all of the nice creative capacity that streaming on Honor Club allows. Because from a creative standpoint, honestly, it is really nice to be on Honor Club. It's nice to be able to go as long or as short as you want to any given week. It's nice that you don't have to worry about commercial breaks. It's nice that you're on your own dedicated streaming service with the shows and with the pay-per-views. And realistically, $9.99 a month is not a bad price, is not a bad ask price to get the pay-per-views, to get the weekly show every week, and to have access to ROH's library. He is frankly justified in not wanting to go away from that if he can avoid it. You know, the idea of all that migration and all that effort and giving up all of these perks for what would in all likelihood be a minuscule improvement in the overall situation doesn't seem to line up in terms of cost-benefit analysis. So from a business perspective, you have that end of things. But from a creative perspective, you have an entirely different problem like Auntie went to, where it's just a vestigial organ on the hanging off. It's AEW's appendix. It's kind of.
We're getting medical up here. Oh, Lordy.
It doesn't always serve a purpose. You only notice it when something goes wrong, and as much as I wish it weren't so, there are times when it feels like that. Like,
yeah,
you know, and it's stuff that could be resolved with giving it a dedicated roster that only rarely shows up on AEW television, with giving it its own dedicated taping schedule, with where you don't have an exhausted fan base. It's taping in smaller venues where the crowd is actually there to see ROH, and you're not playing to 3/4 empty buildings. It's having ROH branding on everything. It's, you know, all that little stuff would help make ROH look bigger, better, and more important. Go back on Honor Club. You all should have Honor Club because you're watching this show. And go back and watch when ROH ran in front of 500 people at a fairground somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. and the crowd was loud, was boisterous, was rabid, was banging on the guardrails, was chanting, was involved, was throwing streamers, was throwing toilet paper at Jimmy Rave, may he rest in peace. But they made crowds a tenth of the size that they're in front of now feel like the biggest thing in the world with a fraction of the budget. And I don't know if you're ever going to get there because a lot of those people are now AEW fans. But these half measures aren't getting you anywhere.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, it was an interesting show. We have a pay-per-view down the pipeline. I'm hoping these weekly shows get better.
And the wrestling wasn't that bad tonight, all things considered. It was pretty good all as you look at it, but it doesn't move anything forward. And you have a pay-per-view that's a little over a month away.
Agreed. Well, Kyle, where can the fine people find you?
Well, the fine people can find me at Kyle K. Sparks. Find me on Blue Sky there, at Kyle K. Sparks. Right now, my Michigan State Spartans are playing in the Sweet 16 tomorrow for the NCAA tournament, so I'll be on about that. The NFL draft is coming up, so I'll be all in with my Packers for that, my Green Bay Packers for that. I'll also be live skeeting shows there as that stuff happens. If I'm appearing on any other podcasts, which involves someone else actually wanting to hear what I have to say on anything,
we do.
Well, yeah,
Silly.
this show's for the sickos, though.
True.
Yeah. Anything that I do, I'm going to announce there on Blue Sky. So give me a follow there. I'm approaching 900. It'd be cool to get to 1,000. And Thursdays I'm here talking about ROH. Hopefully not going on quite as many rants as I went on tonight, but
hey, it's all
we have fun regardless. We're having fun.
Well, if you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Auntie Collins. I'm everywhere there is a social media _queer auntie, except Blue Sky because they don't like underscores. But you can find me everywhere there. I stream something Thursdays through Sundays now because some of the shows are on hiatus, which is probably best for my mental health. You can catch me here Thursdays and Saturdays. Saturdays we are watching we're recapping RuPaul's Drag Race for the Mother Talking Post show, which you saw in the beginning there, with my co-host Jose on the air. And I'm over on Fightful Overbooked on Sundays, where we talk about where wrestling made us cry. We'll be back this week. I needed to take some time. Kylie needed some time. We just needed time to regroup. We'll be back because I have a lot to say about wrestling because, man, it's getting really good in here. And sometimes I stream on my own channel on Friday. I'll be back on my channel tomorrow. I'm not interviewing anyone, but I feel like I need to check in. So follow me on social media so you know when I go live. I usually post something about an hour, maybe an hour and a half before I go live. So you won't want to miss that. But while you're here, you are watching this on our local establishment. We don't get paid for this, but we do show up every week because we love you guys and we love talking about wrestling. Give us a follow. Put that notification bell on so you know when we are going live. But there's a show every single day. Earlier today, there was a trivia show. Come on. You love trivia, so might as well show up. There's something going on every single day of the week. They're even talking about non-wrestling things like Marvel. I don't know anything about what they're talking about now because I haven't started Daredevil yet. But they've been talking about Daredevil, and they even talk about soccer or football, as they call it. Mark would kill me if I mention that. But they talk about that on Sundays. Whatever else you think could be going on. There's a TNA post show. There's an NXT post show. They got a lot of content. So you're going to want to check it out, stay a while, and hang out and find all of our cute, familiar faces and compliment us. If you don't, you aren't cool. So you're going to want to follow us or else. But this has been Honor Ramble. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. All the wonderful messages that you guys have given, and even those who donated. I saw some of you donate to my friend Hannah's memorial page. Thank you. I love you. Happy wrestling. Have a good week, y'all. Bye. Oops, I almost just clicked Tony Nese. Okay. Okay, bye.
That is happy wrestling.
Yes, that is happy wrestling. Bye.
Was not a reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see those eyes blinking for help,